International Renewable Energy Agency is warning that countries may need to rethink net zero targets amid worsening climate change. And in a run-up to the UN Climate Change Summit, COP29, it has been calling on world leaders to work towards the target of tripling renewable energy capacity by 2030. And Roland Lim joins us live from Marina Bay Sands with more. Roland?
IRENA, that's the intergovernmental body, says that the goal of tripling renewable energy by 2030 is still out of reach. This is despite growing at an unprecedented rate last year. Now, renewables are the fastest growing source of power worldwide. Global capacity for new renewables is, in 2023 represented a record 14% increase from 2022. But it's still not fast enough or good enough. And to talk more about the challenges, we are joined by IRENA Director General Francesco. Francesco, good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
There was some interesting comments earlier by Aramco's CEO. He said that more than 100 million barrels per day is required by 2050. Now, this goes against the projected 25 million barrels that we want to bring supply to in order to meet that net zero transition.
So I always like to say that when you have a discussion, it's like the football. So you have to fix the field, the framework you're discussing. For us, two are the key elements: the Paris Agreement and science. So science very clearly say that if you want to achieve the Paris Agreement goals, we have already picked oil and coal, and we should pick gas in 2025. So any scenario where we don't assist at this smooth decline of these technologies is not fitting in our football field, So it's important that we make very strong the case that if you want to be capable to work for reaching the Paris Agreement goals, as the IPCC say, we have to reduce in 2030 43% CO2 emission, 65% in 2035. So these are the numbers. And the only technologies that can provide this is renewables. Imagine the scale, 473 gigawatts last year. You know what this means? It means exactly 30% more of all the installed capacity in nuclear that we put in place in 70 years. So this is the scale. And also the speed, because renewables can be deployed in a couple of years. So in our point of view, renewables is the technologies to put the world in line with the achievement of the Paris Agreement goals.
Then do you buy Aramco CEO's argument that the transition cannot be cookie cutter, that it will possibly slow some economies and impoverish others, like the global south that he mentioned?
That's correct. We absolutely share this opinion. But if you look at the Africa Summit last year and what's happening today, Africa made a choice. They want to go faster for renewables. We as IRENA, we have an initiative with Africa where we have 10 countries, big countries, that want to go faster. We have an investment forum in Nairobi last week. We have the impression that the world is moving there.
Okay. So big oil continues to rake in big profits because of the energy prices due to wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. They justify investments in new plants that's still essential to the energy transition, as we've just discussed. But does investing in traditional oil take away money from investing in renewables?
That's without saying that we have to cut from one side to another side. Just cut fossil fuels, subsidies, no? To level the playground. No? That's what is important, because we are not saying that oil and gas will disappear. We never say that. But we have to assist at this smooth decline. So naturally, everyone believes that we have not to disrupt the system. But for not disrupting the system and keep in reducing CO2 emission, we need more clean energy in the mix. This is what needs to happen. This is what the transition is for.
Let's talk about assessment of the clean energy transition. The UN climate change that's coming up, COP29, IRENA was tasked with monitoring of the UAE's consensus on COP28, which was that there would be tripling of renewable energy, doubling of efficiencies by 2030. How is the world doing?
Yeah, you know, that's is what we are discussing. So, forgetting that 11.2 terawatt of clean energy, we need 2030, we are close to 4 terawatts today. This means that we install more than 1 terawatt per year. And also, if we establish a new record for 173 gigawatt last year, probably will increase that record this year. It's still half of what is needed. So we need to accelerate. And for accelerating, we have to tackle the structural barriers that we have. Infrastructure. We need an infrastructure that is designed for a decentralized energy system. We need a legal environment, conducive environment. The market should be designed for renewables. Not anymore short-term contract, but long-term contract. No cost marginal price, but long-term price, stability we need. And also we need to reskill the workers and also the professionals. We need professionals and workers that are fitting with the new energy system that is coming.
What are your expectations for COP29 in Azerbaijan?
It's a very important COP. Sometimes it seems to be a COP of transition. No, it's very important. First, there is the financial commitment to be fixed. And then also this will be the last COP before the NDCs. So the renewing of the commitment by the member states. So it's very important that the COP gives a clear message on what needs to be done. And we also are helping this with our tracking report. So it's an important COP. It can make the difference if managed well.
Still, there are some bright spots. I mean, your recent report shows that 3/4 of new renewables have been added into capacity last year. And it was actually cheaper than fossil fuel. Does that make a good case for?
You know, is what we are saying. Renewables last year were installed 87% of the total capacity. In that 13%, there is nuclear, there is oil, there is gas, there is coal. And our analysis show as renewables are the cheapest, more convenient way to generate power. So the case is there, but we need to overcome the structural barrier for making this happening. So this will happen. No one will stop this. The problem is that the climate change required to do faster.
And very quickly, biggest barriers towards adoption of renewables? Is it the power grids? Is it the market design to protect consumers?
Infrastructure, we say, market design, capabilities. So strengthening the institutions, because the decentralized system is less easy to manage, and adding the professional and skilled workforce that we need.
Francesco, thank you very much for your time. And that was Francesco Lacamera, Director General at IRENA. And later on, we'll talk energy security with U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for Energy Resources, Jeffrey Piat.